Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to episode 4 of Fire and Air. You're with your hosts, Khush and Uma.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody.
How's it going?
Oh, how is it going, indeed?
It's going. It is
going.
lockdown number 3.
Everyone be going through it right now.
And it is going.
We all just floating out here trying to survive.
Basically. Hope you are surviving.
So, yes, today's episode is called We Move, a phrase pretty much all of us says to each other or ourselves a lot.
A lot. Too much.
And actually, that's how this episode was inspired, because I was driving home from work and I had another L that day. I don't know, probably one of my patients ran away from me again and we had to chase her down the road. I don't know, some shit like that tends to happen to me.
Wow.
But so I was driving home and I was thinking about an L I had just gone through. And then I said to myself, I was like, you know what, we move. Like, just leave it, we move. And then I realised in that moment, I was like, oh my God, I actually tell myself to move repeatedly every single day. Like, it's actually like, I'm not even joking. Like, I literally tell myself to move all the time.
So do you think this is because of you or is this life? Like, what do you think that is?
I don't know, because my life just seems to be like a series of L's that I need to move from all the time, and I'm tired. Honestly, I'm tired.
No, I get that. I think I can't even sit here and judge you because I'm tired. Too much is happening at once. Can we just allow it? Like, please. Let me breathe now.
I just want to breathe.
I'm done with moving so much. Let me just stay still.
Oh, can you tell we're going through it? It's just become a bit of a sob story. Me and Uma collectively have experienced a lot of L's in our lifetime. And because of that, we're gonna battle it out for you guys right now. Both of us are gonna bring to the table our biggest bag of L's. For you guys to decide who has faced the worst L's. Okay, and I'm definitely going to win this because my life is just one big fat L.
Please.
And
please. I will be winning at this game.
Oh, we shall see. And yeah, we're going to give our top L's that we think that we've gone through that is shareable for the podcast.
Indeed.
Yes. And we want you guys at home, we're going to put a poll on Instagram.
We are.
So we can see who's going to be crowned the L Queen for round 1 of Battle of the L. We move.
So, me and my first boyfriend were together for 2 years. And then we broke up, fine, whatever happens. And then, what happens is we don't speak for a few months, and I don't know why. I think it's about 6 months, 7 months now. And then, boom, we do speak, and, it's a bit of a catch-up, also a bit of a closure thing. We know how it be. And then he tells me he's engaged. Engaged? Yeah, that's my L.
We move. So, my number 1 L is I got dumped after 72 hours of being in the relationship at the big age of 21. We move.
So, I was driving from London to Manchester. Again, 4-hour drive. All of a sudden, I'm driving, there's a bag on the motorway, like a plastic white bag. And then it literally flew, the way the wind was coming, it flew and got stuck on my left wing mirror. It actually got stuck there. And then, so I was like, fuck's sake, I can't see anything out of that mirror now. I was like, I'm going to have to slow down because obviously it's dangerous. And also, I need to go to a service station to take it off. I've got a 4-hour drive. And then, so I stop in the service station, but obviously that takes for ages because I have to slow down and it's quite far away. And for some reason that adds 15 minutes onto my journey. I get into the service station, I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. As I stop, I didn't even have to get out the car to take the bag off. It just fell off. I was like, that's so annoying, but okay, whatever. We move and we'll go into we'll just carry on the ride. So I get off, and somehow I missed my turning, and I add another 15 minutes onto my journey. So that's half an hour added now. And then I'm going, and I'm kind of just angry that this has all happened. And also, then I just kind of like space out a little bit, and then I miss my next junction. So I added another 20 minutes. So I somehow just added an hour onto my already 4-hour journey, basically. Like I said, daily L, but it's still worth a mention. We move.
Right, next L. So, I was on a night out, and I bumped into the guy that I was seeing. Really excited, spent the whole night with him in the club. And then we are walking after the club, and we're walking down the street, and I'm very, very drunk, and I'm just trying to impress him. I'm just trying to be goofy, trying to be funny, just trying to impress him. And I see these I see this row of poles, and suddenly I had the very smart idea of showing him that I can leapfrog over all of these poles. There were about 8 poles. Drunk me thought she could do it. So I'm like, hey, look at this. Leapfrog over pole 1, pole 2, pole 3, pole 4, pole 5, pole 6. Then we get to pole 7. I leapfrog over pole 7. I face plant the ground, smash my head off the floor, get up, and leapfrog over pole 8. And then I woke up the next day with the fattest black eye in the world. I literally couldn't see. And then he ended things with me that day.
We move. For my next one, I just want to give a quick article headline. And I think that will explain exactly how much of an L it was. Asian girl bullied out of a grammar school by a racist teacher. We move.
The next L I am bringing to the table is I got fired from a cleaning job at the age of 18. Fired from a cleaning job. Fired by text. Minions, chant with us!
We move. We move.
I hope you guys enjoyed that battle. We're going to put a poll on Instagram. Please, please, please vote who you think wins this round of Battle of the L's and gets crowned the L Queen.
Oi, 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 oi,
Oi, oi. So we just wanted to break down what we move actually means, the connotations of it, like what are we really saying when we say we move?
So I think we think it kind of implies that something's happened that's negative in your life, something has like occurred that might have like stemmed some emotions, and it's just a bit like, okay, here's what it is. I'll just let go of it. We move. Amen.
We move.
It's basically like amen at the end of any situation.
Yeah, I think it holds negative connotations because it kind of almost invalidates the depth of the experience if you just like, oh, we move. However, I do find a sense of comfort in it. And I think that sense of comfort comes from just when we say we move, that means whatever we're moving from automatically just gets put into our repression bag, and that obviously gives us that temporary relief in the moment.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I don't have to think about it, whatever, it's happened, it is what it is. Like,
oh, see, I am literally like so the opposite with that now. Like, I think I'm so like sensitive about emotions that it's like if I experience them, like I'll say we move in the moment, but I don't mean it because I don't move and I need to sort this out right
I don't move.
now.
I don't move.
Stay put. And I'm like, if I don't figure this out logically, every little series, I might just explode. I think that's just like how much I feel emotion, like how many times, like how much I can feel it. So I just need to like, do that for myself.
Yeah, that's true. And I think actually I think depending on how you use we move,
Mm.
like the concept of, so I find myself sometimes I say we move, like when something happens, I just don't want to deep it and I just like, repress it, don't process the emotions properly, like you were saying.
Mhm.
But then sometimes as well, I will process it, like I'll go through the event and I'll process it, and then I will tell myself, okay, let it go now, we
Yeah.
move, because I have the habit of over analyzing the same situation over and over again.
Yeah.
And I always come back to the same conclusion. So I think
Yeah.
it's also can be a practice of letting it go after processing. So that's an
Yeah.
advantage and a disadvantage depending on how you use it, really.
That's really good, to be fair, like using it in that way.
When we're using we move in the negative way that we just explained, like we're not
Mhm.
processing it properly, we're just addressing that a negative thing has happened, that we're experiencing negative emotions and we don't want to engage in it.
Mhm.
And
So focusing on the first definition of we move.
mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, and just really the the problems with that, like why that's
Mhm.
not the right thing to do, and I think it's because what a lot of us don't realize is that there's actually so much beauty and importance that comes from experiencing these
Mhm.
negative emotions.
Yeah. It's kind of this yin yang kind of lifestyle of remembering that, with anything good, there has to be the polar opposite. There has to be something that's making you admire that good more. And unfortunately, it is negative events. But I think, you know, if you are able to process things properly and really be able to like have the skills to do that, I think you can find the beauty into everything you do. But yeah, it's making sure you take that time out into doing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so true. Another beautiful part of experiencing negative emotions is that it's a warning. Like these are actually evolutionary warning signals that are telling us that there's something spiritually that isn't aligned with who we are. Something's happening or something's happened that doesn't align with who we are and
A spiritual evolutionary warning sign. Can you describe like
what that means.
what that means?
Okay, so this is going to go on a little bit of a tangent, but basically, how I'm going to explain this is that all living things have evolutionary responses, and the response is to enable survival, increase chances of survival to the fullest, right? But why do humans have so many emotions compared to all other types of animals? And it's because humans have two goals. So we have the inherent goal of surviving, but we also have the inherent goal of being happy. So we have the physical goal and we have the spiritual goal. So physical evolutionary responses increases our chances of survival, whereas emotional evolutionary responses, spiritual evolutionary responses increase our chances of happiness. So when we experience negative emotions, these are warning signals to us, and these are warning signals that have evolved for humans specifically because of that spiritual goal that we have to be happy. So it's telling us that an event or an action doesn't align with who we are, and therefore we need to change something in order to bring us closer to that goal of being happy.
So that's really interesting because it's kind of saying that like whatever the event is that's caused this negative emotion, it's not aiding growth. There's kind of like some people that believe that negative emotions lower your vibrations. What we mean when we say vibrations, we're referring to energetic frequencies that living beings give off to others and present and, fluctuate within themselves. Whereas there's other people that might believe that these are kind of like normal, everyday emotions, which they are. But people just think like they don't think beyond that. They just think, yeah, cool, like it's just a negative emotion and it's human and it's beautiful and you know we don't have to feel bad about
We don't have to attach such a strong like negative label to it.
How do you
Yeah.
feel about that?
See, I think because there was a tweet that said this, and like you showed me this tweet, and I think that was the first time I really thought about it in the other sense. Like I've always thought about it that experiencing negative emotions does lower your vibration, But then the tweet said, love Twitter, it's so educational. But the tweet said that it's not actually experiencing the negative emotions that lowers your vibration. It's the repression of experiencing those negative emotions. So I guess that comes like when you say like, oh, we move, like you just repress it, like you're not processing it. And it's this not processing the negative emotions in a healthy way that lowers your vibration, because something that can be processed and dealt with and let go in that moment then becomes something that turns into a trauma, and then that trauma turns into long-term repercussions. And like, I mean, everyone knows that, and we say this all the time, like, don't hold it in. If you hold it in, it's all going to come out. But that is, I don't think people deep that enough.
No.
Like, if you don't process the emotions that you're feeling, and it's so much easier to repress it, but then that turns into that trauma, and that trauma comes out. It can come out in 1 month later, 10 months later, like 10 years later, but it will start affecting you in ways that you wouldn't even be able to start connecting to that event, like,
because it was so far gone.
You wouldn't even realize
and
the
so
connection.
So much has happened between then and now that it's like, I don't even know why I'm acting like this or feeling like this right now.
That kind of invalidates, like, why am I feeling like this? Like, am I crazy? Like, where's this coming from? But and then someone can actually tell you, oh, it's probably from that thing that happened like 5 years ago. But then you could be like, oh, but that it wasn't really that deep, but it becomes deeper and deeper. It grows inside of you.
And I think it's important to remember that, like, trauma is a term that is used that's like, oh my God, it's the biggest kind of thing that can happen to you or any human in the world. And of course, that is trauma. But also, like, trauma can be on a really minor level. Like, it can be, I don't know, like, oh, I ran past this curb thing one time and I nearly cracked my head, and now I'm a bit traumatized by, like, sharp turns. Like, I don't know. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that is trauma. If it's affecting you later, it is trauma. So, I just wanted to break that down, because I think that's a big misconception.
That is, and that's actually so true. Like, people think that an event has to reach a certain level of negativity for it to be considered as trauma.
Yeah.
But really, like, everything is trauma. Obviously, to psychology students, it would be wrong of us to not have...
Immoral.
It would be immoral for us not to give you a few tips and tricks on how to deal with trauma.
Tips and tricks. No.
And
seriously.
As you saw from our from Battle of the L's...
we have personal experience, I think.
We got a lot of trauma. A few ways to handle it that I think we've both been trying to incorporate into our lives. And it is really, really difficult. And I'm like, by no means like good at doing this yet at all. But we say this to each other a lot. Well, first of all, like we said, try not to avoid the emotions you're feeling. If you're experiencing emotion, validate yourself. I am experiencing this emotion, even if it doesn't seem to match the level of the event that happened, like you think you're overreacting or whatever. Just experience it, feel it, accept that you feel it. But then I think the second step is to observe it more from an outsider perspective. So not to become at one with the emotion. Like, the emotion isn't who you are. Just try and take a step back and take an observer approach. Observe the emotions rather than become at one with them. It suddenly seems a lot less severe, and it suddenly just seems like a lot more easy to manage. So yeah, I would really advise practicing that.
Once I'm trying to be an observer, I'm just thinking about what I can do next, and that's something I can control. Therefore, let me just see what, on a rational level, like without that emotion, what I come up with of how to react to that. And then I kind of balance the two of, like, this is my emotional reaction and this is my rational reaction. Which one do I want to go for? Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you try and be really diplomatic about it.
Yeah.
So you try and really, like, balance the logic with the emotion. And we're not going to go into this too much now, but just very, like, quickly, we want to go into this properly in another episode, but it's really important not to think that emotions and logic can't work together. You can use your logical mind with your emotional mind, and the emotional mind doesn't have to distort mind. It can complement each other, but people don't know about that.
And let me just add, I look at the logical and I look at the emotional, look at both outcomes, and I think, let me try and blend them together, because at the end of the day, if you're caring about the situation, you have to use a bit of your emotion
to get the best outcome.
Exactly.
Otherwise, it won't be an accurate outcome because it's not real life.
And that might be a self-hack of being a bit pure in your intentions. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Stop being dickheads.
Yeah.
None of our minions are dickheads.
Not all of them. And yeah, just like something that I think is really helping me at the moment, especially, is that I keep reminding myself that everything is temporary, and it just, like, we never believe it in the moment. Like, when someone tells us, oh, this will pass, like, in the moment, it really doesn't feel like it's going to pass.
This is here forever.
Yes,
now.
I am going to feel like this for the rest of my
This
life.
is me. Look at me. Look at. I'm sad. This is
sad,
me
and
now.
I'm sad. I'm just, call me sad from now on.
Yeah. Forget my name. My name's not Uma. My name's not Khush. My name is Sad. And sad. Welcome.
Welcome, sad. But yeah, we always get through it, and humans are so much more resilient than we realize, and we just have to remember that we all have an inherent strength because we have to be emotionally resilient. We have no choice, so that's to survive in this cold world.
Oh no. Oh no.
Okay, so yeah, me and Uma were actually talking about this, and we were talking about like the different emotions, and we feel a lot collectively. You were saying that.
Oh my god, we feel a lot individually, but then between us, it's a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot like
shared
emotion, and it's beautiful.
No, it is.
It really is beautiful how we feel emotions together and stuff. And we actually found out that the emotion that we are both most vulnerable with, so the emotion that we don't want to, like, the last the last emotion we'd want to expose to the outside world, and for both of us it's anger. And I don't know, I wonder how common this is actually, like how many people
have anger
as their most vulnerable emotion,
and if it's a gender thing.
Yes, because obviously in this world of toxic masculinity a lot of men would say it's sadness.
Yeah, they would. Yeah, whereas ours is definitely anger. And I wonder if, you know how like women and how we're socialized, it's like you have to be vulnerable. You have to be vulnerable, but you can't show this like negative side of you. Otherwise, you're not like the cute, like the girl next door. Like, you're not that sweet girl like anymore. Like, you're just like a horrible girl. Like, do you know what I mean?
That's so true.
Like, that's how girls like brought up a little bit, and I feel like that is, I don't know if it's my reasoning, but I know that affects me because like I don't want to come across as someone that's just like not, I don't know, like someone that's out of control. Like, I don't want to seem like someone that's really impulsive and things like that. Like, I want to seem like I've got my shit together because I generally do. But like, if you're getting me angry, obviously I'm angry. So what then? But to be fair, on that, it takes me a lot to get angry.
Yeah. That's so true, actually, that I think if it is a gender thing, and this again another theory we're putting out there, and it's actually for a lot of girls it is anger. I think it definitely is a result, like subconsciously, it's a result of social conditioning. And I think, like, similar to what you said, I think it's also that when you're angry, it's displaying a level of dominance.
Yeah.
Like, anger comes with you're trying to make your feelings the dominant feelings, like you're trying to express yourself in a dominating way. And it's a very dominating emotion with a lot of presence, and women aren't taught to be that. Women are taught to be submissive, so maybe we don't want to expose that anger because, you know, we feel like we can't, like we feel like as women we actually can't display that emotion because that will take us away from the submissive personality that we're meant to have.
It's actually messed up. It's actually messed up. Like,
cold world.
No, but yes, but I mean, like, when you think about women, really, we're like we actually are the most resilient gender. Like, I don't even care. We are so more resilient than any guy.
So much more.
Like, no way are they the dominant. Go away. That makes me mad.
Right.
That makes me mad.
Like, I think for men, because they don't process a lot of their emotions, I know a lot of it is to do with toxic masculinity. And
that's also to do with socialization.
Socialization, but it just means that they don't have as much experience dealing with the emotions, so they don't become as resilient, whereas we women deal with so many emotions on a daily basis, and we get that practice every day.
Every day of our lives.
Yup. Every day of our lives, indeed. So yeah, I think that pretty much rounds it up, and I hope you guys enjoyed our battle
of the L's.
Yes.
So what we're going to do is put a poll on Instagram, like we said, and we're going to try and do that this week at some point, so keep your eyes peeled, and then obviously the results will be like in 24 hours later. So that's how we're going to do it, and give us a follow and whatnot at Fire and Air Podcast.
Yes, follow us on Instagram.
Yes. Cool.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.